Hi everyone, this week I'm giving you a special sneak peek inside my online training course, How to Edit Your Business Videos, so you can see just how easy it is to edit your videos in Filmora. If you would like to follow along with the full Thinkific course, you will find a link in the description and as a pinned comment. With that being said, let's get to the learning. Right, let's start chopping up this video. So the first thing we need to do is cut out all the parts of the interview that we don't want. So that might be bits where we've got stuff wrong or large gaps where you're trying to think about the next thing you're going to say. So let's just have a listen and find the end of the point that we want to keep.
Especially if she's unaware of what's going to be going on.
Okay.
And
there you go. So there's a mistake there. So I'm going to go to the end of where I want to keep, and I'm going to click but not drag, just click the scissors here, and that's going to create a cut in the video. Now we need to find the part where we want to start the video again. As you can see, Roz is listening to me, so she starts talking there. So
before you,
let's just go back a little bit, and then again click the scissors. Now we need to delete the part that we don't want. So if you click and then press the delete button on your keyboard, it's going to do what's called a ripple delete. So if I undo it, you can see it takes this bit of video here and automatically drags it over, so you don't have to then click and drag. So that's called a ripple delete or a ripple edit. But what if you do want to keep that gap? What if you want to put something else in that gap? So you come over here and click this button here, and that turns off ripple delete. So now if we click it, we've now got a gap. So that's the two ways of editing something. And if you did leave a gap and you wanted to move it back up again, you can just click and drag, and it will snap to the end of the other video. Now this seems like a bit of a long way of going about it, having to watch your whole video and cut out the bits you don't want. There is an easier way to do it, and that's using the waveform again. Remember in the last lesson we spoke about the waveform and how these are volumes. Well, you can use the waveform to see when you're speaking and when you're not, and then make your edits accordingly. So I can see here there's a big gap at the beginning, so let's have a look. Yes, we need to get rid of all of that, so I'm just going to go here, click it, delete it, done. Right, on to the next. Let's going to make my timeline slightly smaller, just so I'm not scrubbing through so much. Okay, here there's another big gap, but that is where Roz is actually doing an example. Leave that. It's all fine.
you could have that.
Okay, so we need to go back and find.
She's now helping herself to treats.
Okay, so we're going to cut there. Drying.
Yeah, I'm going.
Setting.
Yeah. Okay.
And cut there. Just make sure you don't drag it when you click it, because it won't make the cut. Got to be fairly precise with that. If you don't like using this button because you're finding you're dragging it, you can always click the scissors up here and that will do the same job. So we just want to go through the whole clip and cut out all the parts we don't need. So this looks like another bit that we don't want.
To breathe.
Yep. So this time I'm going to use the scissors to show you. There we go.
Okay, now we're just going to wait for it to set.
And again, scissors. And again, if you don't want to click the delete button on your keyboard, you've also got a delete button up here. But when it comes to editing, you're trying to speed up these sorts of processes as much as possible, because you're just trying to find the footage that you want to use. So using keyboard shortcuts is definitely the way to go. So I'm just scrolling through, looking at this, looks like another gap here. Why did you do that?
Receive these, I can get started on making your special keepsake.
So I remember this part, Roz didn't like the ending of it.
Pull them, so you can just put them in there as well. And then just post back to me, and when...
So it's from post it back to me. This is I remember. One of the things that's good to get used to is editing in your head as you're filming something. So if you remember that it was only the last line that Roz didn't like, or I didn't like, then you know just to cut that out.
And then just...
So from the, then just. Okay, and then let's find the right one, which will always be at the end because it's normally the last take that you use.
When I receive it, I can get started.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's just have a look back. So another good tip is if you want to quickly go between the cuts, you can use the up and down arrows on your keyboard. So this is a really quick way of getting back to the beginning of your video as well.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the mold of your dog's nose. So you will have received your impression pack in the post. In there...
So this is another thing with editing, right? So Roz starts off by saying, this is what we're going to do in this video. You received your impression pack. This is what it's got in it. And then she says the first thing you should do is get your dog worn out. So I think it should go, this is what we're going to show in this video. The first thing you want to do before you start is get your dog worn out and then go into what's in the pack. So I'm going to get a cut here.
Your impression pack in the post. In there are two little tubs with two different colour moulding compounds. Don't worry too much about what colour they are. They will just be two different colours. So before you start, it's a good idea to get your dog lying nice and comfortably, especially if she's unaware of what.
So we've actually got another take of this. So I'm going to delete this bit, but I'm not going to use a ripple delete because I want that gap so I've got room to play around with.
Before you start, it's a good idea to get your dog nice and worn out. Maybe take them on a nice long walk, or perhaps you've got a dog who's not very highly excitable, and then it won't be a problem. But it's a good idea to get them lying nice and quietly next to you, because they're then unaware of what's going to be coming. You've got two different...
Okay, so then she goes back into the moulding compound. So I'm just going to get this, I'm going to drag it over, I'm going to make my timeline a bit smaller so I can see what I'm doing. And then as you'll see, this is too big to fit in this gap, right? So that's a bit of an issue because we don't want to start cutting off ends that we don't want to. So what I'm going to do is click and drag this up onto a new track so it's not affected. Drag this one over and then drag this one down. Okay, so then we've swapped those round. Got a big gap here. If we just click in the gap, it will select it and you can click delete, and then that is all nice and tidy.
Pack in the post. In there are two little tubs with two different colour moulding compounds. Don't worry too much about what colour they are. They will just be two different colours. You've got two different colours. Once you start to mix the compound, it will begin to...
So I'm going to get rid of the part that says you've got two different colours because that's just repeating. Oh, and we've still got ripple delete turned off, so I'm going to put that back on.
Colour they are, they will just be two different colours. Once you start to mix the compound, it will begin to set. So make sure you have everything ready before you start.
So I'm pretty happy with how this looks, but there might be a few bits, right? So if we look at this part here,
Dog's nose. Before you start,
for me, there's too much of a gap before the cut and before the next one. So what if you want a bit more precision than just clicking and dragging this round? That's where we can move the playhead frame by frame. But what are frames? We've talked about frames before, but I've never really told you what they're about, and it's time to go into a bit more detail. So the way video works is it's literally a series of pictures shown to you in a fast motion, which makes your brain perceive it as video. Think of it like an old-fashioned flip book where you flip in the pictures and it looks like the picture is moving. So there are 3 common frame rates, or frames per second, which is how many pictures are shown in a second. So the first 2 are related, that's 24 frames a second and 25 frames a second. And these are the standards for films, like what you'll go and watch in the cinema. 24 is more for American audiences and 25 is for European. The other one is 30 frames a second, and this you're more likely to see on TV, especially if you think of the look of like a daytime soap opera. If you want a more cinematic look to your videos, use 24 or 25 frames per second. If you want a more realistic or a more TV look, use 30 frames per second. So again, back to what we were talking about, we can go frame by frame and find where we want to cut. So I want to cut just before Roz starts looking over there. Just going to use the left and right keys to go backwards and forwards, frame by frame, cut, delete. Again, you want to leave a little bit of a gap because that's naturally how people talk. They don't go straight from one sentence into another. I tend to do things by feel. If it feels like it's rushed, then I add a bit of extra footage. If it feels like it's too slow and it's taken too long to get onto the next piece of footage, then I'll cut some out. So I'm just going to get rid of this cut and delete it. So I'm quite happy with how this looks. I might go through and just play with some of the timings of the cuts just to make sure everything lines up nicely. But if we watch back, you might notice that when it goes in between the cuts, there's a sudden jump in the movement. If you watch the monitor up here,
they're then unaware of what's going to be coming. So you will have received.
So you see it jumps and Roz changes position, Roxy changes position. This doesn't look very good. So what we're going to do to fix this, we are going to add some B-roll. So as you can see, editing your videos doesn't have to be hard. The full course on Thinkific will also show you how to cover up your edits using the zoom transition and B-roll, edit your audio so that your viewers don't have to blast their speakers, add your branding, music and titles, as well as bonus content like how to create a subtitled video for social media. If you'd like to purchase the course, just follow the link in the description or in the pinned comment. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like because it allows us to reach and help more people just like you. If you need more reasons why you should be editing your business videos, check out this video here. If you'd like 4 tips on creating better looking videos for your business, check out this video here and click here to subscribe to catch our weekly videos all about growing your business using video marketing.